Dashing to the local dollar store, to find lots of things your children will adore. Writing and art for you, science and math too. We will have lots of fun. I'm glad to see everyone. Oh, Facebook Live, I have ideas for you. Your children will learn lots of things and have fun learning too. Hey everybody, hope you had a good Thanksgiving and you're ready to jump into the holiday mood. What's nice this year with Thanksgiving being so early, you kind of have time to wade into December and you just don't get thrown right into it. So I've got activities to share with you. I got most everything at the dollar store, and so for $10 or $15 you can add a lot of sugar and spice to your learning centers in your classroom. I tried to focus more on a winter theme than a holiday theme because I know some of your schools don't want you to do holidays, so you can adapt these things. And also the skill level that you can do with these different materials. I'll try to show you some things that you could do with 3 or 4-year-olds as well as things that you could do with primary grade children. So all of these activities will be on my blog, drjeanandfriends.blogspot.com. I started these ideas on Friday and they will run for about a week, so you can get more details on how to do all of these things. Many of these things you've probably seen before, maybe you've forgotten about them, but I hope I give you at least 5 new things that will make it more fun for you. And I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes when I did things, it was as much for me as for the children because it made me a little bit more excited about going to school to introduce some of these things. And you know, I tell teachers, I am not your meat and potatoes. You have a curriculum, you have a reading program. I am your condiment. I'm your sugar and spice to help make it more fun for children. So let's just get started with some literacy ideas, some bookmaking. And one of my favorite books is just the little napkin book, and you can buy these at the dollar store. Cut paper the size of the napkin and then just staple it in here. You can do with maybe more of a Christmas theme or just a winter theme. And these could be open-ended books that you have at the writing center. You could use these for descriptive writing to write about scenes of December. You could do something, a how-to. There's lots of different things that you could do with these books. Another book that's fun to make in December is the candy cane book, and I'm going to show you how to do this in just a minute. It's basically just paper cut in half, folded in half, punch holes, and insert the rubber band and put in your little candy cane, and that could be a book to write about sweet things. If your school doesn't allow candy, let them make their own candy cane and put it here. So a larger version of this, I'm going to show you how to make this now. This is with a seasonal pencil, and this makes a great journal for the children to write in. And you know, if you want to catch a rabbit, you have to have a rabbit trap. If you want kids to write, you have to give them a book that they want to write in. So I'm going to show you how to make this. It's just a couple sheets of paper, 3 or 4, whatever you want, and you fold the paper in half, and then you take the hole punch and you hole punch a couple of inches from the top and a couple of inches from the bottom. If you take your rubber band and insert it through one hole and slide the end of the pencil through that loop, and then you take the other end of the rubber band and put it through the other hole and slide the other end of the pencil through that loop, you will have a little holiday and seasonal book. Now, you know what? Your kids are probably not going to be able to construct these books on their own, but this is a good thing to do while you're watching television or if you have a parent volunteer. And, you know, if you were a child, would you rather do a worksheet or would you rather write in your own little pencil book? So that is a great holiday book. Another holiday writing activity is a sticker story. And you just give them a sticker, they put it in the middle of the page. They can write a poem, they can write a story, or they can just draw a picture around it and then write a descriptive sentence about it. Another thing I wanted to mention for writing for the holidays and other times in the year would be to have a card center. Children like to make cards for people. And, something that so many things that we take for granted that we know how to do, and we think, oh, well, kids would know how to do this. They don't know how to do it. And so just to teach them how to make a simple card shape, fold it in half, fold it in fourths, and show them how to match up the corners nice and even, and they have a little card. And so you could have a card center with stickers, with stampers, and this time of year, it's nice to have like a picture dictionary with some seasonal words or some holiday words, and you could just set this card center up and they could make cards for family members or friends or anybody that they would like. And then if you are in a school where you're allowed to do this, it's always fun to write letters to Santa. And so there are a lot of these free templates for letters to Santa that you can find online. So just some writing activities. Now, let's do some math. So I found this little bag of red and green pom-poms. If you taught in a Jewish school, you might want to do blue and white pom-poms. So just adapt it to where you might be teaching. And with the pom-poms, you can let them sort them. And then can you sort them another way? And what is your grouping strategy? And so you can get a lot of your math skills with something like this. You can also let them make patterns. And one thing for the younger children is to glue a pattern and then let them extend it. For the older kids, you could have AAB, BA, or different pattern cards, and they could choose a card and then duplicate that pattern. Another thing with pom-poms for the younger children is just to get your dot cards and let them match up the pom-poms 1-to-1. And then some estimating activities. And my friend who's a mathematician said we don't do enough estimating with children because when we grow up, so much of the math we do is estimating. How long will it take me to get there? Do I have enough money to buy this? And things like that. So this is a little estimating activity. You get like 4 bags. Put different amounts of pom-poms or other objects in the bags and number the bags. And then the children all have their own little scorecard. And so they take bag number 1, they guess how many are in the bag, and then they dump the objects out and count and confirm and write the correct amount here. So there's a lot of skills going on here where they guess, and then they open it up and they count. You could even let them put inequality signs between that if you work with the older children. This is another idea, and I know you all seen this, where you've just got different seasonal pictures, and the children can take the pom-poms and put that number of pom-poms on the tree. Now, if you work with older kids, they could have red and green pom-poms and challenge them, how many different ways can you put pom-poms on the tree? Well, we have 2 red and 4 green and 1 green and 5 red, and then let them write out the different number sentences ways to make that. I found these little foam cards. Y'all, for $1. I mean, you could teach all year with these things for $1. I've got one with the letters and one with the numbers. And so what's fun to do with the numbers is to put them in your sand table, or if you don't have a sand table, get a box and fill it with styrofoam or other packaging materials and hide the numbers in there. And then they find a number one at a time. And if you give them a little grid like this, they can color it off when they find the number. Now, you could also let them write the numbers as they find them, so you could tie in some different writing activities. And I love these. Look at these. I got all these little stampers for $1. And so with these, you can do patterns. You could use these in your card center. They could stamp out different math equations. They could stamp out different numbers. They could make a little book and stamp them out. Everybody likes stampers. They're fun to use. And then also the dice. I mean, how can you resist dice for $1. They can roll them, they can add them up, they can do that many exercises, they can play it with a friend who has more, who has less, and sometimes just put something like this out and let them come up with their own game to play with the dice. So we've done some math and we've done some writing. How about some small motor activities? Play-Doh. You gotta love Play-Doh. And so just put the Play-Doh out and let them make different objects. Or cookie cutters. I love cookie cutters, and I got a whole set of cookie cutters for $1. Now, you can use these with Play-Doh, but what my kids used to like to do is I would give them the cookie cutters, and they could trace around it, and then cut it out, and then punch a hole in it, and then string it, and they have a necklace. So you're using cutting skills, you're using small motor skills, you're using the hole punch, you're stringing. I mean, you've got lots of skills going on with something like this. And they could make a necklace, or these would also make ornaments that they could do, and then they could decorate them and, you know, put a little pipe cleaner on there to hang them up. So, you know, just tons of small motor activities with this. Another small motor thing this time of year is to get holiday plates and hole punch around them, and then let the children string them like a sewing card. And you can do the same thing with old holiday cards. Just punch around them and then let the children sew them like sewing cards. Children love to string things, and I love Jingle Bell, so you could just put out the pipe cleaners and let them string a Jingle Bell bracelet, and they could take it apart and leave it for the next person to do. I mean, we don't have to supply everybody with, you know, bell bracelets. You could also put out string, and they could make a Jingle Bell necklace. And then one other thing with Play-Doh, if you let them punch it down and make a flat pancake with it, and give them a golf tee, and they can write letters, they can write numbers, they can write shapes with the golf tee in the Play-Doh, and it really strengthens those little muscles because they've got to work to write it in there. So, you know, like with the younger children, just to let them make shapes, and then your older kids could practice writing their sight words with the Play-Doh. Now, I've got a little bag, and this one I've got my little foam letters in here, and so you could have this in a center, and they pull out a letter, and then they write the letter, and they draw something that starts with that sound and writes the word. Or the younger children, they could just pull out a letter and then walk around the room and find a word or find the letter in the classroom and match it up. So, you know, just print knowledge, what's going on in the classroom. Some other literacy ideas. Of course, you know, who wouldn't love to put these on and read the room or write the room? And to do it with a partner, one child gets to wear the glasses and the other one takes the pointer and they point to words or objects or things that the other one has to identify. I also made this little game. Now, if you ever see these frame puzzles, these are great for matching activities. So this one I did with like uppercase letters and lowercase letters. So you take the pieces out and you write the lowercase letters on all the different sections, and then you write the uppercase letter on the puzzle piece, and the children match the letters, and when they match all the letters, they will complete the puzzle. Now, you could do this with upper and lowercase letters. I have also made this game with number words and numbers, and I've made this game with math facts and answers, and I've made this game with antonyms and synonyms. So lots of different matching skills. And the advantage of a game like this is they can do it over and over again. We know that purposeful practice for automaticity, they have to repeat things, but they don't want to repeat doing a worksheet. They will enjoy repeat doing something with a little puzzle like that. So that's a great literacy idea. Also, these little gift tags and stickers make great little matching games for the younger children, and then the older kids, my kids used to love the memory games where you put the put two alike on the cards, and then they turn over two at a time and they try to match them up. You could do that with words, or you can do that with stickers, or you can do that with letters and numbers, anything that you might be working on. I really like this idea a teacher shared one time at a workshop. She said that she wrapped up a lot of the seasonal books that she was going to read to the children, or you could do this any time of year. Wrap up, you read aloud for each day, and then one child each day gets to unwrap the book, and you read the book, and then you put it in the classroom library or a place where the children can revisit it later. And there's something special about being wrapped up. I also like this idea for vocabulary. Teacher said she did vocabulary brain breaks. So the children would stand up and she'd say, okay, I want you to melt like a snowman, laugh like Santa, waddle like a penguin, twinkle like a Christmas tree, smile like an elf, prance like a reindeer. You could use different words, but it's just, a fun little brain break. And anytime you let them pantomime vocabulary words, it really helps put it in the brain, and it's a fun movement activity. There were lots of other things at the dollar store, like the Crazy Eights, and you all know I'm such a believer in games with children. It just develops that executive function, helps them with task initiation, completion, delayed gratification, learning how to get along with others, and most importantly, learning how to lose. So there were some good games there. I saw this, and I wasn't sure what it was going to look like, but I bought it. It's called a Santa chair cover, and you put it on the chair. And I mean, is that the cutest thing you've ever seen for $1? But I thought, some of you do flexible seating. This would be good on a chair, and then, one special child each day could get to sit in this chair, or you could use it as another reward and motivation. How about this idea? Jingle Bell Club. So it's important that children know how to tie their shoes, and I wouldn't expect 4-year-olds to do this, but I think kindergarten, and especially first, second, and third graders, need to know how to tie their shoes. There are kids in third grade who can pass every reading test and they don't know how to tie their shoes. So this time of year, you make a poster. It's called the Jingle Bell Club, and when they learn how to tie their shoes, they get a jingle bell on their shoe, and they are a member of the Jingle Bell Club. Just a nice little motivation. And then I wanted to tell you a little bit about a coloring book. Okay, so I'm the last person in the world that would encourage coloring books. I mean, I used to work with some schools, and I had 2 rules: no screen time and no coloring books. And one day I happened to go to the school, and there were some little kids coloring at a table, and the teacher said, "Don't get mad at me. They wanted to color. They love to do it." And, I've been reading a lot about stress and about self-regulation and small motor skills. And a lot of the researchers now are saying that coloring is good for stress and for getting rid of the fidgets. And so, put a coloring book and some crayons and some markers and I got this at the dollar store. And if you finish your work early, or you could use this for another motivation that they can go over and they can color or do an activity page. I think it would be nice just to get one for the whole class, and then they share it. They can each choose a page and do a page in it. For science, for December Center, I got a little magnifying glass and little tweezers, and all you have to do is get a box or a tub, go out in some natural area near you and put things in it. You might put pine straw and sticks and pine cones and rocks. It depends where you live, what you would find. You put it in the tub and you call it your winter nature center. And the children get to look through the tub and they get to use the little tweezers and find things. You could have them write all of the different things that they find. You could have them write a descriptive sentence about some of the objects that they find. But that's just a simple little way to get children to observe and use some of those scientific skills. Of course, love these little gel things that you can just put out in a center, and they could use these on a window or on the class mirror. These also work really well, like if you have a pizza pan, that they can put these out in the pizza pan. And just a word from our advertisers. I just wanted to let you know that if you go to drginafriends.blogspot.com, I do have all the activities I've just shown you. We also have December Happies. Carolyn Koslowski and I wrote this. 150 pages of December ideas and over 20 song downloads. If you're tired of doing worksheets, we have Worksheets Avengers. And we also have a book with all sorts of learning center ideas that you can use all year long. So if you've learned at least 5 new things today, would you put your hand up and now stretch it across your back and pat yourself on the back and say, I'm a great teacher. And then tomorrow when you go back to school, you can tell your children that Dr. Jean said you were a great teacher and they're lucky to be in your room. I've got some workshops coming up. I hope I'll be able to see some of you. I'll be in Georgia for the kindergarten conference on December 6th. And then the next week, I'll be in Florida for the kindergarten conference. And then after the holidays, I'll be in California. I'll be in Santa Clara for the California Kindergarten Teachers Conference the first part of January. And then the first part of March, I'll be doing the Southern California Kindergarten Conference in Pasadena. I'm also going to be doing the SDE conferences in Ohio and Little Rock and New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and I'm doing the Virginia Early Childhood Conference. So I've got lots of great things coming up where I hope I will get to see all of you. So, teachers who love learning like you make children who love learning. So thank you for joining me today. I hope your December is just filled with lots of love and lots of fun. And my best advice to you always is just to shut your door. Take care. God bless. Thank you for joining me today.